Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Ultimate Rebuild franchise. The last episode went up, well, depending on when you're watching this, the last episode should have gone up about a week ago. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the last episode and the episodes in general, in this series in general. So the last episode was the second episode, and it came out 3 months after the first episode. So, at that rate, we should be moving through this franchise pretty quick. No, but I've recorded that second episode 3 months ago, and then I just kind of didn't edit it and didn't post it. But I finally did, and I don't want to give up on this series because this is a really fun thing for me, and I've done it on my own before. I've done the Ultimate Rebuild thing before on my own. It's a lot of fun. So I don't want to just give up on it for this channel because I think it could be a fun series going year to year at MLB The Show, and this could just be a mainstay, I guess. And talking about it being a mainstay, I kind of want to try and make this series go up every Sunday, so I'm trying to hope to have a new episode every Sunday. So I've never really operated on a schedule before, as you can probably easily see if you just go back and look at my catalog of videos and look at the dates posted. I've never kept to a schedule, so there's no telling if I actually will, if I'll actually be consistent about it, but I'm hoping I'll try, and I'm hoping that at least for these first couple of weeks I'll do it before I taper off. So I know on the second episode of this that was posted about a week ago, it really didn't get many views, but I think that might also just be because it was so long after the first episode. But if you are one of the few people that are watching this and you like this concept and you want to continue to see it go, make sure you get on me in the comments if I don't post it on a Sunday. If you recognize, if you're waiting for it on a Sunday and you're like, oh, Ultimate Rebuild is supposed to come out today and it doesn't, get on me in the comments. I want you to keep me going, I guess. Because if I'm on my own trying to keep to a schedule, I don't know how it's going to end up. I don't know if I actually will do it. But if I have people relying on me and they say, hey, I like this, I want to see it every Sunday, then it'll probably help me to actually feel motivated to continue posting it every week. So anyways, with that out of the way, let's actually talk about this episode itself. Well, first of all, let's talk about the last episode. In the last episode, I'll go to the calendar here. I played this game opening day against the Kansas City Royals. We only lost 2-1, which is crazy given our team. Actually, real quick, as I said, crazy giving our team, just in case there's anyone new watching this, which there always could be, the basis of this series, and I recommend you go back and watch the first episode if you missed it also, but the basis of the series is I did a fantasy draft, and I picked literally the lowest player at every position, every round. So I have the worst possible team you could have. And my goal is just through the years on this game to rebuild this team into a perennial championship contender. And it's called the Ultimate Rebuild because I'm literally starting with no trade leverage, nobody who anybody wants. But anyway, like I was saying in this last game, I accidentally simulated the day. I meant to go back to the box score, but we went 11 innings, we lost on a walk-off. It was a really close game. Now, I remember when I was playing it 3 months ago, I was all excited, oh, maybe I'll be able to hang. And then I went back and I looked just now and I realized that the Royals were the 29th best team. So obviously we are the worst team, and the Royals are only one slot ahead of us. And I knew while I was playing it that they didn't look like they had the best team, but I didn't know that it was literally the worst in the league besides us. But the other thing is I do want this to be I know it's not going to be the most realistic because obviously the MLB is never going to have a fantasy draft like this, but I want to be a little bit more realistic in the sense that I really shouldn't be competing at all at this point with my team. So I would consider myself a better MLB The Show player. So there's still a pretty good chance that while I'm playing with the team, I could win some games and put up a fight. But I did play that first game on Hall of Fame difficulty, and it could have just been a fluke that it was such a close game and I almost won. But After I play a few more games, I'll see about bumping it up to Legend, but for now I'm going to leave it at Hall of Fame. But I want to be honest with you guys, these first couple episodes here are probably going to be a little bit more on the boring side. So just I would say like just stick around because there's really not going to be anything happening in these first couple games. We have like no trade pieces, so we're really not going to be able to go out and make any trades to get better guys. We're really just going to have to stick with this team pretty much this whole year. So what I'm planning on doing, I'm not planning on playing like every 10 games or something like that. I'm only planning on playing one game a month. So that way this first year and the first couple years should go by pretty quickly. So I don't know exactly what game I'm going to play. I'll probably try and pick one since this was near the end of March. I might just pick this Detroit game since it's featured on MLB Network. Not that that really matters, but I don't know, why not? But yeah, anyway, we're gonna see a lot of losing, obviously, in this first. I mean, I don't want to say these first couple episodes because realistically, it'll be these first couple of years that we'll continue losing. But that's the whole fun in the series is we're so bad to start off with and so hopeless looking that we want to try and turn this team around. So with that being said, I'm just going to start simulating these games. I don't think I have critical situations on. So we're going to see how this goes. And it almost seemed like it was taking me to some sort of cutscene there. I've never seen it pop up saying autosave like that. And we lose our first simulated game. And oh no, we lost that one 15-0. How'd this one go? 8-3. So we don't do so well in our first series against the Royals. Now, I'm probably not gonna commentate over the simulations like I was, because what I have to do is I simulate it. Since I have scouting on manual, I kind of have to go back to the scouting screen every couple of games and start scouting new players. So I'm not just gonna be able to simulate all the way through the game that I play. So I'm probably gonna stop talking about here, and I'll just kind of flash up the simulations as they appear. You know, I guess now that I'm on the scouting screen here, before I really have gotten into any simulations, I could talk about the scouting a little bit, just in case you guys aren't too familiar with how it works. It really hasn't changed, like, at all since I've started playing MLB The Show, and that's been like a decade at this point, honestly. But it's literally like the same. You have 4 scouts. You have to discover players. So like here we have a bunch of players that we know of, but they're not like scouted accurately, so we don't know their like ratings and their potential and stuff like that. So these guys, I still, you know, I should know after like a decade, but I feel like they've made subtle changes here and there, and I don't know how exactly everything works. But if you go to there's these lists of blue chip prospects who are like the top guys coming out of college or high school that everyone knows about, and everyone knows they're going to be like the best players in this draft. And then you always seem to get started out with a bunch of these guys that, like I said, you know of, but you don't know their ratings because the accuracy is really low. So what you want to do is you can scout some of these guys with your scouts, so you can like basically send a scout out to follow this person, and it's like 4 or 5 days that they usually do it, and then that accuracy meter gets full, and then it basically shows what their potential is. And then I think the actual accuracy, like it could say the accuracy is full green, but like if you put like let's say this Brian Watanabe guy, he has a 31 rating scouting pitchers. So like I'm guessing I say I'm guessing because like they still have never made this clear, but I'm guessing if I put Brian Watanabe scouting a pitcher, he's not going to get the scouting report right. Like it might say like full green accurate, like Rob Ingram up here, but our scout just might not know what he's talking about. So he could report to us that like, oh yeah, fully scouted, full green meter here, but his numbers could be like way off and he could be real bad. So you want to send scouts out for specific people that are actually going to be able to scout them well come draft time. And then also you send, or at least what I like to do is send other people out on discovery assignments. So you basically just tell them, I mean, I can show you the screen here. I don't have to change it. But you basically tell them what to look for. So you can do pitcher, catcher, infield, outfield, and then specific traits like throw hand and then a skill and stuff like that. And then they just, it's just computer generated, but they scout people from that region that fit that mold, and then they pop up on this screen. So like they weren't here before. And I think this red bullseye thing, I think that means that you discovered them. I don't think that means anything else. So yeah, as you can see here, that one guy, he was a pitcher, probably discovered by Dan Bass. Brian Watanabe is scouting some international outfielders, and here this Brandon St. Aud and Nick Worth have both been discovered, I guess, and Philip Shin has been discovered. So like that's how the discovery works, and then you just scout them fully. So I'm not really a fan of how it works, honestly. Like, you only get from the start of the season until the player draft, which is only 2 months in, to scout. So you really can't get much scouting done in time. And then after that, like, you don't scout during the off season, you don't scout after the draft. You only have those 2 months to scout. And then what I've noticed in recent times is it seems like even a lot of players that you know of don't even show up. It's like, for example, like, this might not ring true, but for example, let's say I have my heart set on getting Bobby Monroe with my first pick, and I could even be the first overall pick in the draft, and I want Bobby Monroe. And it comes to draft day, and all of a sudden Bobby Monroe isn't on the board. And that's happened to me before while I'm playing this, and it's never really explained why he's not on the board. He's just kind of not there. So I don't know. Some things are still a little murky with the scouting. I wish they'd fix it going forward, but for right now, this is what we got. Hey, look at that. We got a win against the Yankees. Our first win of the season, bringing our record to an intimidating 1-13. Let's look at the box score for this one. Let's see what happened here. It looks like, oh man, I forget his first name, but Palmeiro had a 4-hit game, went 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs. We got a home run out of Burke. I don't even remember who Burke is. We got a homer out of him. Pretty good team game, I will say, for this one. 8 runs. I was expecting, if we were to ever win a game, it'd probably be like 3-2 or something like that. But our team putting up 8 runs and holding our team to 5, or holding the other team to 5 in the same game. Interesting. Alright, so it looks like we have finally come up to the game that I said I was looking at to play. We have a schedule riddled with losses here in this month, but we did get the one win, so we are 1-25. What a record. So I was just thinking I would like to probably go over the stats, not like too in depth, but just because, there's a month in between every episode, it's probably a good idea to just quickly go over the stats in each episode. But instead of doing it now before the game, I think I'm just going to wait until after the game's over. So we're going to go ahead and get into this game against the Detroit Tigers. They have a pretty good record, 17-11. We're facing Cole Hamels, it looks like. So we're going to go ahead and get into this one. I think we got our guy Alex Wells on the mound. All right, we can get a look at their starting lineup here. They do have a pretty good team. They got Bregman, Marcelo Zuna, Castellanos, DeYoung. Zimmerman's probably still a good hitter. Perez is still pretty good behind the plate. So this is a pretty good fantasy draft team the Tigers put together. We got Alex Wells going for us today. He's looking like he's having a great year. A 9 ERA over 5 starts. He only has 17 innings pitched. So 17 innings pitched in 5 starts. That's it's not a good sign. It's like 3.1 innings pitched per start. And the first pitch is going to just barely miss for a ball. Now, I did rip on Alex Wells, but we all remember how Packy Naughton did in his debut, the first game of the season, actually, overall. And, well, Packy was throwing a no-hitter through like 3 innings, and Alex Wells is going to give up a double on the first at-bat of the game. So maybe they're not quite the same in terms of skill level. So just as I play a little early on in this game, I want to ramble a little bit just about, I guess, the back end, I guess, to be called. Hey, Alex Wells got the strikeout. But just a little bit about the back end of how I'm thinking about this series. Now, usually when I make videos in general, I try to shy away from them being over 20 minutes long. Like, if I'm editing and it ends up being over 20 minutes long, I kind of cringe because I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I want to have a video be that long. But if you look at most people who post franchise on MLB The Show, a lot of people's franchise videos tend to range from like the 20 to 30 minute like threshold, I guess. They kind of tend to be a little bit longer videos. So I think I might try that. I don't know. It's kind of tough for me to say that because I don't know how this is gonna turn out at this point. But I'm looking to kind of go a little bit more in depth with this and make sure I show a lot of information. Like I said, stats, going over stats in every episode, and just stuff like that. So these are probably going to be a little bit longer of videos, probably about 25 minutes, but I guess it also depends on how much gameplay I show, because right now when the team's not very competitive, the gameplay probably isn't going to be too fun. So I might not show as much gameplay, but we don't know. This is all a learning experience here. I've never been good. I don't want to say I've never done a franchise, because I definitely have, but I've never made it out of April. So this will be a first if I can make it out of April. So we're learning together here, everybody. And Jared Foster gets that one down the line, and it's going to get down. It's going to get into the stands, though. I don't think he would have gotten a triple on that anyway, but Jared Foster with the double down the line to give us some life here in the bottom of the first. Maybe Yasiel Balaguer can get a nice little hit here and drive him in. We can take an early lead. And Balaguer hits it to center, but I think it's going to get caught, and we're not able to cash in on that 2-out double. So we did give up a double here to start this third inning to Wellington Castillo, their DH. Got the first out here, but they're going to move him up with that hit there. I feel like I'm not letting myself get into this game, because I know how it's going to end up. But we do have a chance here to keep them from scoring. Alex Bregman, though, I wasn't anticipating him to do that on the first pitch, but they're able to cash in with 2 outs. Tigers take an early 1-0 lead here in this one, but at least it's only 1-0 in the third. I mean, Alex Wells, like I said at the start, he was only averaging like just over 3 innings per start, so he's about to reach that here.
Welcome back. As the White Sox look to get the offense going in the third, this is a lineup that has had its struggles this season. Currently, they rank dead last.
All right, so we got some stats here. I'm going to talk over Heidi a little bit, but we are last in everything but stolen bases. Expected. I mean, that's completely expected. And stolen bases, I'm kind of surprised we're not in last. Not because we don't have speed, but because we're just not getting on base. Brandon Bednar got a hold of that one a little bit. That's going back. It looks like it's, just a warning track shot. Man, Brandon Bednar gave that one a little bit of a ride. Got me all riled up there for a second. So, lo and behold, here we are. Just like I said, Alex Wells, he doesn't throw for many innings per start, and we're at the 3.1 inning mark, and he's given up a solo homer, and then now He let 2 more runners on base, and they're going to cash in even more here. Get the runner home from second on the single, actually, not the double. I do want to just admit, at first I thought I'll just hide it and play around it, but then I realized after this last inning here when they scored a run and then set up for more that I just wouldn't be able to show it, but I was going into quick manage. Honestly, right now at this moment, I don't really want to play a full game. Not that I'm like, not having fun or anything, but I don't feel on the current day that I'm living in that I want to go through playing a full 9 game. Moments Extreme just came out yesterday, and I've been taking way too long to beat those, so I'm kind of over these uphill battles. So I've been using quick manage on this game. All right, I'm back in quick manage here. See what happens. We're on offense and 2 flyouts to end the inning. I'm gonna take Alex Wells out here. So I'm going to bring Javi Guerra in to pitch here. Again, don't get him mixed up with the established veteran Javi Guerra, because that's not who this is. This guy is 23 years old, and he's currently got a 10 ERA over the span of 9 innings pitched with an 0-2 record. So looking to drop that ERA down a bit here in this one. Let's see how he does here. And he... I mean, honestly, probably would have been the same result if I pitched, but Javi Guerra giving up a solo home run to Marcelo Zuna on the first at bat after I brought him in, and then he hits Nick Castellano and gives up a 2-run blast, so his ERA isn't going down anytime soon. And I'm going to leave Javi Guerra in, and all right, he loaded the bases. We're gonna go ahead and bring in a new guy here. C. Carroll. I don't know his first name. Cody. I thought it was Cody. I'm not familiar with this team at this point, and I don't really intend to get familiar with this team because a lot of these guys aren't going to end up on the team going forward because they're just, they don't have good potential. Now, I'm going to hop back into this game. Jared Foster batting. I don't want to get shut out, so I'm going to do what I can to hopefully score here in the bottom of the 9th and not get shut out. And Jared Foster doing his part by grounding out to short on the first pitch. Almost beat it out. And Yasiel Ballard-Garrett actually rips that one. And that one's long gone. So I accomplished my goal of not getting shut out here in the bottom of the 9th as Yasiel Ballard-Garrett hits a shot to left field. And it looked like it was his 4th home run of the year. So I got to imagine that's probably a team leader. I don't anticipate our guys. I think we had 8 total home runs when it showed that stat thing earlier, so I don't anticipate anyone else having more than 4. And Jose Azocar hits that one out to the gap, but is probably going to get caught. Yeah, that ends the game. Cole Hamels gets a complete game on us on 100 pitches, but he crucially does not get that shutout because I accomplished what I set out to do in the bottom of the 9th and did not allow myself to get shut out in this one. So that game wasn't too pretty, obviously. A 16-1 loss, not quite as close as the first game in this series. But like I said, usually I'm not going to use quick manage. Right now, I just really didn't feel like playing a full game. But in the future, I probably will. Not like the outcome's going to be much different because it's still a crappy team. But at least it'll, might be a little bit more fun than just watching this team get blown out 16-1. So as promised, we're going to look at the stats real quick. I think I'm just going to do it from the lineup screen. I probably could have done it from the stats screen, but who cares? I'll just do it from the lineup screen just to get the basic stats. Brandon Bednar, 187 average out of the leadoff spot. That's exactly what you want. Jared Foster, he's actually batting 288. Okay, he hit the double in the last game in the first inning. I remember that. So 288, that's actually not a horrible season. No home runs, that's not too good. But a 288 average with 5 doubles, that's not horrible. Vince Fernandez, no good, 160 average. Yasiel Ballard-Garrett, He does have the 4 home runs now after I hit that one the last game, but he's only batting 163. So yeah, he's having, in terms of extra base hit to single ratio, he's having a lot of extra base hits. Drew Dosh, not doing anything special. Preston Palmeiro, his average is kind of up there too. He's up at 262 with 2 bombs. Jose Azocar also with a decently solid average at 270. Ryan Burke at 257. Jose Godoy at 250. Charlin Scope 150. Brennan Davis under 100. Nate Nolan 167. And Cole Brand 157. So obviously we're not going to have too many people putting up big stats here, but a couple of these averages surprised me, like Jared Foster and these 3 guys, or 4 guys down here, all being above 250. So that's kind of cool. Let's go into pitching here. This is where it's gonna be bad. Packy Naughton, whoa, he's actually keeping that ERA kind of low. Look at him go. I wanna dive deeper into this. He's 0-3, but record doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm shocked. He's only given up 2.67 runs per 9 innings in the games he's pitched. I'm honestly speechless. Packy Naughton might be a cheat code in this game. Alex Wells, the guy that we used in the last one, 9.86 ERA. Only 12 strikeouts on the year. How many did... Packy only had 16. Ronnie Williams with a 5.73. El Nieri Garcia is up above 10. He's our only starter above a 10 ERA. All these guys, all these guys except Packy, looking pretty bad. Dietrich Ends, Jeff Singer, he's looking solid in the bullpen, 1.42 ERA. Same with Sam Selman, 1.80. Some of these relievers, honestly, a lot of these relievers have more innings pitched than our starters, just because our starters are only lasting like 3 innings in their games. So our relievers are pitching like more than they are. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Our player with our most innings pitched is our long relief guy, Dietrich Ends, with 31 innings pitched, even more than Packy. That's pretty ridiculous. But anyway, that is going to do it for this episode of the Ultimate Rebuild. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys want to see this series continue, because like I said, these first couple of episodes, at least probably this first whole year, so maybe like 4 or 5 more episodes, it's going to be really tedious, not the most fun, but I promise when we get through those, it's going to pick up once we start getting some prospects and getting the ability to make some trades. So just stick with it. Like I said in the beginning, this should be coming out every Sunday, so hopefully this episode I get out by Sunday, and then hopefully the next episodes all come out on Sunday. So I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys keep coming back. Make sure you like the video if you did, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the future episodes. But that's all I've got for this one, so I'll see you in the next one.